Welcome everybody to JD Aquatics. Thank you for joining us. I'm really excited with this video because as you can see, it's going to be all about the 105 litre Biorb, which I've recently purchased second hand. So as you can see, I've cleaned it all out. Luckily, when I bought it, the fish was still in it and all the bacteria is still in the bottom of the filter. All the stones and everything come with it, and I've took them out and I've not cleaned them, but I've just cleaned the inside, give it a rinse out with the hose pipe and that outside, just to make sure it was all nice and clean, ready to get started. So our first thing I wanted to do with this is sort out the airline. I've left that in just in case I never need it, but I've put a one-way valve on it, so no water's going to escape from that. So that's just for make sure it's saved. It's up to you. You don't have to leave it on, but I decided to leave that on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to. These come with the actual Biorb when you buy them, for when you're cleaning your filter. But I'm just going to put one on the end here, because when I actually put the soil in and that, it's going to be covered up this. I just want to keep that safe, just in case we ever go back to it and use it again. You just never know, do you? So now it's all emptied. As you can see, I've kept all the stone that's originally with it, and that will be full of the bacteria that we need to get this started. I've not washed it. I've just literally took it out from the fish tank when I bought it a couple of days ago, so that's all ready. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put that all back in the bottom of the tank, because that is all full of the great stuff we need for our fish and plants. I'm going to place them in the bottom and scatter them around. This was the amount that was actually in the tank. I'm not adding any more, and it kind of like puts a layer on the bottom, as you know, when you're using it. Next I'm going to put some sand. I want to try and fill it up as much as I can at the bottom to give me a good base for my plants, and I've picked some black gravel sand. This is basically just going to go on top of the stones, just to mix in to fill in all the gaps and that in between them. I'm just placing that on now. I did wash the sand. It does recommend it, just so that the water doesn't go too dirty. So I've mixed that outside, washed it with some water, and now I've put it in on top of the stones. And as you can see, it's all nice and level now. It's filled in all the gaps around the stones, to keep that nice and neat and keep them all down below. And that's going to keep everything compact at the bottom to give it a good surface for planting. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the aquarium soil, and that's going to provide another layer which on top of the sand and the stones, just to finish it off. This is obviously a substrate that I use quite a lot for planting. I've had some really good results with this, so I'm just going to cover the bottom of that now. This is my last layer, just to make sure that seals everything in. So I'm mixing that with the black sand. If any sand does come up, it'll still be black, so that'll be a great effect. It does feel nice on your hands when you're touching that stuff. Just get it nice and level. I'm going to go for a level one. I'm not going to build it up in any way. And this ornament actually come with the Biorb. It's something that you can purchase with the Biorb. It goes into the centre, obviously, and it's to cover the pipe that runs up the middle. But I've decided to keep this. The Biorb did come with some plants, some fake plants, but I don't want to keep them. So what I've decided to do, I'm going to use this ornament because it looks it's a very nice ornament, and it does look wood. I'm going to cover it with Java fern in places, and all I'm going to do is just fasten that with some cotton. I've got some brown cotton. I have used glue in the past, which sometimes works. It just really depends what your preference is. For this I'm going to use cotton, and as you can see, I'm just tying it around on a couple of the branches, because I'm hoping once it spreads out and grows, that'll give that centerpiece a really nice effect. Cutting up bits of it, breaking it up, and tying it round. As you can see, I'm spreading it out as much as I can. It is a really nice centerpiece. It's quite expensive to buy, but luckily this come with the Biorb when I bought it, so I thought it's a shame not to use it. and it is a great centerpiece, and it's quite tall as well, which is nice. It gives that effect. So the plants I'm using, I'm going to list them on screen because I'm terrible at pronunciation, so I'll only get it wrong for you. So these are the plants I'm going to be firstly putting in, and hopefully I'll be adding more later on. And I'm just going to space these out in the Biorb. Right, it took a while to fill, obviously, you can imagine 105 litre, but we finally got there. We've still got some air bubbles in and that, but I've put the fish back in. They've been perfectly fine. It's not something I recommend for a new tank, but obviously because the bacteria is still in this from existing when I bought it a couple of days ago, they've been fine, the fish. And I'm really pleased at how it's gone. But what I wasn't happy with was the light. As you can see, it's nice and bright, but for planted tanks you really need a lot of light. So I'm really excited to actually show you another light that I've actually acquired, and fingers crossed this is going to work even better. And hopefully if you subscribe, please subscribe and follow, and I'll keep updating this. As you can see, I've added a filter, an internal filter. I didn't want a big one. I've put what it is in the description, as well as the plants. I've gone for an internal filter because, as you know, these Biorbs do come with their own filtration, but it's not very good for planted tanks because you're going to have to keep moving it to clean it. So in this way I don't have to keep disturbing that middle bit. I'll just have to clean the filter every so often. As you can see, the fish are loving it. I wanted some high plants that's going to grow quite high because the Biorb's quite big. It's got a good height on it. It's going to be it's adequate for these type of plants that grow very tall, and hopefully they'll spread quite quickly within the Biorb.